cyanobacteria and green purple photosynthetic bacteria. And I don't know the difference between cyanobacteria and green photosynthetic bacteria. What is that? So that is repeatedly asked me question. So one is performing oxygenic photosynthesis. Oxygenic photosynthesis. Second one is anoxygenic. Anoxygenic photosynthesis. These two are prokaryotes only. But first group is the cyanobacteria. I think cyanobacteria. We call it as BCA, blue green algae. This cyanobacterium is a photosynthetic. What photosynthetic? It just like a green plants, it releases oxygen during photosynthesis. So if you are asked, just define photosynthesis in 2 steps. How could you define it? What are the 2 main steps of photosynthesis? If you are asked, how could you answer that question? In 2 steps. Sir. So if you are asked to define photosynthesis or state 2 main steps of photosynthesis, generally what we say that is preparation of food for the universe, that is a normal statement, and oxygen is liberated, that is also a normal statement. If you are asked photosynthesis, there are 2 main steps in photosynthesis. One is oxidation of water. Simple. Second, reduction of CO2. That's all. Water get oxidized and carbon dioxide get reduced. Water get oxidized during light reaction. You know that photolysis of water and release of oxygen. Next, carbon dioxide get reduced to carbohydrate. These are the 2 steps in case of photosynthesis. If you are asked to define or state the particular photosynthesis in very short form, this is the best explanation of photosynthesis in 2 steps. One is oxidation of water. Second one is reduction of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. Water is oxidized and release oxygen. That's it. Okay. So we are talking about this particular type of anoxygenic photosynthesis. Anoxygenic photosynthesis is seen in case of water. Green. They are oxygenic photosynthesis. Nostoc Anabina belongs to cyanobacteria. So this question is repeatedly asked. I think I told you. Which of the following group of prokaryotic organism performs anoxygenic photosynthesis? Which of them are performing oxygenic photosynthesis? Oxygenic, you can give the examples of here. Nostoc, Anabina, Oscillatoria. You know this, I think. So in the chalone, you are these examples are. So Nostoc Anabina, you are very familiar with these 2 examples, and they are also acting as a biofertilizers. They live as endosymbionts in many particular type of plants. You see, in case of Azolla, you know, water fern. In Azolla leaves, what is observed? Anabina, cycas, coralloid roots. Nostoc is living as a endosymbionts. In rice fields, these 2 are acting as biofertilizers and increasing the fertility of the soil, thus increases the yield of the crop. Okay, both in free living state and symbiotic state, they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. But you take only rhizobium bacterium only fix atmospheric nitrogen when it get a symbiotically associated with legume roots. Otherwise, when it is in free living state, it cannot fix atmospheric nitrogen. Do you understand what I am telling you? So that is the one. So these are the examples. These are what are green, purple, photosynthetic bacteria. What is common in these 2? What is common in these 2? All are photosynthetic. One is releases oxygen during photosynthesis, other one is not releasing oxygen. That is the only difference. Both are Monerians only. Both belongs to Monera. Okay, next. So this is what about the prokaryotic organisms. Next we move eukaryotes. Eukaryotic organisms. The name itself is giving eukaryote means true nucleus. Organisms with a true nucleus are called as eukaryotes. True nucleus and membrane-bound cell organelles. Organisms are having what? Membrane-bound cell organelles. So membrane-bound cell organelles are present, and nucleus is a true nucleus. Means what? Nucleic material surrounded by what? Nuclear membrane is surrounding this nucleic material. That's called as a true nucleus, and it is also having nucleolus. Inside, what is there? A particular type of ball-like structure is there, that is called as a nucleolus. Is it a membrane bound or non-membrane? Non-membrane structure. Structure, you need to say that is a structure. Non-membranous structure which synthesize the ribosomes is present inside the nucleoplasm called nucleolus. What is the other name I told you? Plasmosome. That is also called as a plasmosome. So, membrane-bound cell organelles, true nucleus. These are the two main characteristic features of eukaryotic organisms. So, apart from that, eukaryotes may be plant, fungal, and animal cell. Okay. Plant cell, fungal cell, and animal cell. In case of plants, what do you observe? Cell wall. When you take the cell wall is present in plant cells. Cell wall is also present in case of fungal cells, but cell wall is absent in case of animal cells. Okay. When you see this particular type of cell wall after cell wall, big vacuole. Big vacuole is present. Here may or may not be present. Here big vacuole is absent. What are observed? Small vacuole. If at all vacuoles are present, they are small in size. Okay. When you take this particular type of an chloroplast or plastids, chloroplast. Chloroplast is observed in case of plant cells, not seen in case of fungal cells, and it is also not observed in case of animal cells. That's why these two are heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition because they are lacking the chloroplast. They cannot make their own food through photosynthesis. They are definitely non-photosynthetic organisms. Next. So, in case of this, another particular type of one is the centriole. Centriole is absent in case of higher plants. In higher plants, centrioles are absent. What do you mean by that? In lower plants, centrioles may be present, but in higher plants like angiosperms, centrioles are not observed. Centrioles may or may not observed here. So here the centrioles are seen. This is one of the particular type of difference. Outer covering is a cell wall. Here the outer covering will be plasma membrane. So their mode of nutrition, you know that there is a autotrophic, heterotrophic mode of nutrition. These are some of the basic differences in case of different types of eukaryotic organisms. And eukaryote starts from protista. First group of eukaryotic organisms are placed in protista. Protista means what? Protista meaning first of all, all the first particular eukaryotic organisms are placed in a protista. Then fungi, plantae, animalia. So all the four groups, protista, fungi, plants, animals, all these are possessing what are eukaryotic cells. The only group that are lacking, that are not eukaryotic, are nothing but monerians. Monerians are the only group out of the 5 kingdoms which are prokaryotic in nature. Okay. So when you see the eukaryotic cell, They differ in sizes and shapes. That what we discussed. RBC, biconcave, J-cone. So next, white blood cells. They are amoeboid type. Next, when you see the plant cells such as the parasite, parenchyma, columnar cells are observed. And big, largest eukaryotic cell is nothing but the egg of a ostrich. I think I mentioned the size of that also. So the longest cell is an nerve cell. Different type of cells we observed. RBC 7 micrometers. That is in case of size. Okay. So when you see this particular type of eukaryotic organisms, so how could you differentiate a plant cell from an animal cell? I told you, I think so. Both plant cell and animal cell. Cell wall is removed in case of a plant cell. Here the cell wall is not present at all. Okay. Both the cells are with the outer plasma membrane only. Both plant cell and animal cell. So you have to recognize which is the plant cell and which is the animal cell. How could you do that? Because the simple, here the vacuole is there, in case of big large vacuole is there. Here the vacuole is not there, and centrally placed nucleus will be there. Nucleus is at the center. Even in case of plant cells, when they are young in condition, nucleus is at the center. When the cell get matured, that appears like this. All the small vacuoles are there in here. In young plant cells, many vacuoles are there small. They all fuse together, coalesce, and form a big large vacuole and push the cytoplasm towards the periphery. This is all the cytoplasm which is pushed towards the periphery. I told you, I think, what is the name of this cytoplasm which has been pushed towards the periphery? You got it? What I am telling? Due to the enlargement of the vacuole, whatever the protoplasm is there in the center, that has been pushed to the periphery. Once it has been pushed to the periphery, it acts as a thin layer-like structure. This is called as what? Cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm which is pushed towards the periphery in the form of a layer is called as primordial article. Right? Primordial article. Okay. How primordial article is formed? Due to the pushing of a cytoplasm towards the periphery, due to the enlargement of a vacuole, it appears as a thin film-like structure that is called as primordial article. You got it? Any doubt? So that means you should come to a conclusion when the cell is young in condition, dense cytoplasm is there, abundant amount of cytoplasm. When cell becomes aged, then what will happen? The cytoplasm is pushed towards the periphery due to the enlargement of the vacuole. That appears just like a thin layer. That's what we call it as primordial article. Okay. Now, when you see the structure of the particular type of cell, cell structure, cell, what a cell wall plus protoplast. Cell that is nothing but cell wall plus a protoplast. Now we check the protoplast. Protoplast is equal to cell minus cell wall. Cell minus cell wall. Plant cell, we are talking about the plant cell. Cell without cell wall, remaining structure is nothing but called as a protoplast. Again, protoplast is equal to another protoplast. Protoplasm plus plasma membrane. So protoplasm plus plasma membrane together called as protoplast. Okay, that means this is the cell. This is plasma membrane. This is nucleus. Protoplast. Next, coming on to this cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This number. Then. This is nucleus. This is nucleus. This is protoplast. This is cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This cell number. Okay. Just what we are doing. This cell number. Then. This is PM, plasma membrane nucleus. This is called as what? A protoplast. Okay. No cell wall. Outer membrane is plasma membrane, which is nucleus, and cell wall has been removed. What is removed? Cell wall. That's what we mentioned here. What is that? A protoplast is a combination of protoplasm plus plasma membrane. Okay. Now, what is protoplasm? Protoplast minus plasma membrane. When you remove this plasma membrane, remaining wall are called as protoplasm. Protoplasm has been surrounded by plasma membrane. When you remove the plasma membrane, all the inner contents are called as a protoplasm. Okay. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is nucleus plus cytoplasm. Nucleus plus a cytoplasm together called as a protoplasm. And cytoplasm, and when you remove the nucleus, then you can call it as a cytoplasm. When you place a nucleus in cytoplasm, the whole structure is called as a protoplasm. Next, coming on to the what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is nothing but a cell organelles plus cytosol, fluid part. Okay, cell organelles for a cytosol. What is cytosol? Cytosol is this. So, cytosol plus cell organelles is called as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm plus nucleus is called as protoplasm. Protoplasm plus plasma membrane is called as protoplast. Protoplast plus a cell wall is equal to cell. So, cell has this particular different type of structures what we observe. So, starting from the outermost layer is cell wall, next plasma membrane, protoplasm, next nucleus. In case of protoplasm, apart from nucleus, the fluid, jelly-like substance. That jelly-like substance is having so many cell organelles. I told you, I think so. So, cytoplasm is the center for cellular activities. All the vital metabolic functions are carried out in cytoplasm as it consists of a cell organelles, and each and every cell organelle is involved in its own metabolic actions. So many functions are going inside the particular type of cell. Suppose it is chloroplast, it is performing photosynthesis. Suppose it is mitochondria, it is performing what? Respiration. It is a respiratory organelle. It is performing respiration. Next, a peroxisome that breaks the hydrogen peroxide, which is toxic to the cell. So, different cell organelles are involved in performing different vital functions. Altogether, that is called as cellular activities, metabolic activities in the form of metabolism. Either it is in the breakdown process or constructive process. Means catabolic or anabolic process. Okay, that's what we observe. So, when you go for this particular type of next, so we see the cytoplasmic membrane. Cytoplasmic membrane. This is also called as a plasma membrane. Actually, in plant cell, it is the present beneath the cell wall. Present beneath the cell wall. In plants, it is observed in case of beneath the cell wall. It is present beneath the cell wall. But in case of animal cell, it is the limiting membrane. In case of animal cell, plasma membrane is limiting membrane, outermost membrane, isn't it? So this plasma membrane is a lipoproteinaceous. So lipoproteinaceous in nature. So made up of a majorly made up of water, composed of water, proteins and lipids. So majorly made up of this. So what are also present? Carbohydrates are also seen. Carbohydrates. Okay now. So when you see the composition of the plasma membrane, what do you observe? So they are composed mainly with the proteins and the lipids. In addition to that, some carbohydrates are also there in the membrane composition. Okay now, it is the outermost layer in animal cells and beneath the particular type of cell wall in a plant cell. And it is must in all living cells. It is must in all living cells. It is living membrane. Cell wall dead. So dead layer. So it's not living medium, not living cell wall. What is living? Cell membrane is living. So cell membrane is a must for all living cells because it is acting as it acts as selectively permeable membrane. It acts as a selectively permeable membrane and used to select the things to enter or the things not allowed into the site. Suppose this is a membrane. Some materials are allowed, some are not allowed into the membrane. Hence only we call it as selectively permeable. Okay now? So some of the members are allowed into the room, some are not allowed. Means you are selecting the persons to enter and you are selecting some other not to enter. We never allow them. Such way it's called as selectively permeable membrane. Most important living membrane of a cell is nothing but a plasma membrane or cell membrane. Okay. So next, when you see the composition of this particular type of membrane, and the proteins are a major. When you see the RBC, human RBC, plasma membrane of a human, PM of a human RBC. When you see it, protein content of this is called as around proteins for 52%. Lipids are around 40%. This composition vary. This composition vary from one organism to another organism. Generally, proteins are more when compared to the lipids, but both united forms this particular plasma membrane. So composition vary from cell to cell. From cell to cell, the composition of plasma membrane will vary, but majorly it is composed with water, proteins and major composition, proteins, lipids. What type of membrane is it? Selectively permeable in nature. So where is it present? Beneath the cell wall in plant cells and outermost layer or limiting membrane of animal cells. Okay. So it is a must for all living organisms or living cells. Living cells, some of the living cells are lacking nucleus. Some of the living cells are lacking cell wall. Some of the living cells are lacking what? Chloroplast. But all living cell should possess one structure, that is nothing but plasma membrane. Okay. So when you see the plasma membrane, Plasma membrane is composed with the lipids alone. What are lipids? It is a lipid bilayer. What is it? A lipid bilayer. So these lipids are having two particular type of structures. This is called as a head, which is polar head. What is it called? A polar head, which is a hydrophilic. So lipid is a phospholipids. Lipids are what? Phospholipids. So these lipid bilayer made up of what? Phospholipids or phosphoglycerides. This is important one. What type of lipids are present in the plasma membrane? These are nothing but phospholipids or phosphoglycerides. So when you see the lipid molecule, lipid is having how many particular type of structures? Two particular type of ends. One is the head, which is round and spherical polar head, which is what? Which is what? Hydrophilic. This is the hydrophilic head, and this is a tail. Tail is a non-polar. Non-polar means what? Hydrophobic. So not so that is repulsion towards the particular type of water, not accepting water, fear of water. You might have heard that one of the symptom of rabies, hydrophobia. When a person is in near sight of water, convulsions appears here in case of this throat. Throat muscles spasms appears in throat that becomes stiff automatically. So if any particular type of rabies person, when he comes in contact or a vision of water, then he feels such type of condition. That is called as a hydrophobia. I think you are not having bordophobia. So this is hydrophobia, and head is showing hydrophilic nature and tail is showing what? Hydrophobic nature, and both the type of natures are observed in single particular lipid molecule, isn't it? Having hydrophilic nature is amphipathic nature. What is it called as a amphipathic nature? Why? Both the hydrophilic and hydrophobic. So this particular type of lipid is having both the particular type of features. One is hydrophilic nature and other one is a hydrophobic nature. What is having hydrophilic nature? Head. What is it? Polar heads. And tails are projected towards the center. When you see the membrane, tails are projected towards the center. So they are protected from the aqueous environment. They are protected from the aqueous environment, and the water environment they have been protected, because generally, so they get exposed to the particular membrane is exposed to the water or moisture on the surface only. Now, you see, this is the membrane, this is the outer surface, this is the inner surface. Here, inner part is not exposed. What is exposed? This surface may be exposed to the water, or this surface may be exposed to the water. These tails may not be exposed, so they've been protected from the aqueous environment. Okay, because they're having hydrophobic nature. So what are exposed to the water or moisture? Heads are exposed because they are present on the periphery, polar regions. So inside here, what are their tails are there? So tails have been protected from the aqueous environment. Heads are projected towards the outer surface as well as the inner surface. They are hydrophilic. So having the nature of both hydrophilic, hydrophobic in a one particular type of lipid molecule, that what we call it as a amphipathic nature. What is this nature? Amphipathic nature. So these particular type of lipids are what? Phosphoglycerides are phospholipids and conjugate lipids. Lipids are conjugate lipids, you observe. Okay. Next, apart from this, what are observed? Proteins are associated. What are observed? Proteins. Lipids and protein. It is a lipoproteinaceous membrane. Lipids along with what are observed? Proteins. So again, proteins. These proteins are generally two types of proteins are observed. Two types of proteins are observed. These proteins are called as membrane proteins. Membrane proteins because it get associated with the plasma membrane, hence they are called as membrane proteins. These membrane proteins are two types. One is extrinsic and intrinsic. So extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic proteins are called as peripheral. These are integral. So peripheral proteins and integral proteins. Peripheral proteins, as the name itself gives an indication that they are towards the outer side, almost periphery of the membrane. Suppose this is the membrane. Proteins are attached towards this particular type of almost outer side. These are called as extrinsic or peripheral. So the intrinsic proteins are those type of one. You can the ease of attraction based on the ease of extraction. Ease of extraction. How could you extract that? With ease or with some difficulty? Based on that, the proteins have been categorized into two types. So you can easily remove this particular, you can easily separate this one, easily. Because they are located on the almost outer surface or the polar regions. You can easily remove. So they are called as extrinsic or peripheral proteins. So some proteins are buried along the length of this particular type of membrane. From one particular type of side, outer side to inner side of the membrane, towards the other side. From one side to the other side. So from one side to the other side. So this is the outer side of the membrane. This is inner side of the membrane. What is there here? Inner side. This is cytoplasm. ఇక్కడ ఏముంది ప్లాంట్ సెల్ అయితే సెల్ వాల్ ఉంటుంది అంతే కదా అదే యానిమల్ సెల్ అయితే ఇంకేముండదు పైకి ఉంటాయి అర్థమవుతుందా అంటే టోటల్ థిక్నెస్ ఆఫ్ ద membrane has been occupied by this particular type of protein so that it is integral protein. It is not easy to pluck this particular type of protein from the membrane. So based on the ease of extraction, how could you remove that particular type of proteins easily or with some difficulty? So based on that, they have been categorized into how many types? Two types. One is the peripheral one, which is called as extrinsic protein. Second one is intrinsic protein, which is arranged along the length of this particular type of from one side to the other side of the membrane, is not easily separated from the membrane. They are called as integral proteins. They are also called as membrane proteins. What are they called as? Membrane proteins. What are they called? Membrane proteins. Okay now. So these proteins are of two types. That's what I told you. So here also hydrophilic, hydrophobic. So it is a lipid bilayer. I told you. So it will be like this. This is the outer surface, one surface of the membrane. This is another surface of the membrane. Tails are projected towards the center. I told you. Peripheral are heads, polar heads, and tails are projected towards the center. So they get protected from the aqueous environment. That's what I told you. As they're being in the center. Okay. Now, when you see this particular type of plasma membrane, so many concepts have been proposed. Composition is okay. And plasma membrane is composed with what mainly? Proteins and lipids. So lipid is having two natures, both hydrophilic and hydrophobic amphipathic nature. Next, the proteins are all basically of what type of two types of proteins, that is extrinsic or intrinsic. These are collectively called as membrane proteins, transmembrane proteins or membrane proteins. Okay, that's it. Next, when you see the structure of this particular type of plasma membrane, it is a lipid bilayer. I told you. What is it? A lipid bilayer. So these is projected towards the center. Sure. This is what the head. This is the tail. This one head kada idi peripheral or extrinsic. Extrinsic protein. This is intrinsic or integral protein. In addition to this, some other particular type of oligosaccharides. Some oligosaccharide carbohydrate chicken. I told you some carbohydrate chains are there. Okay. These are nothing but sugars. So this is the simply the what model, what a structure of what a plasma model. So many concepts have been proposed to explain the structure of a plasma model. So it was a sandwich model. Sandwich model proposed by Danieli and Davison. So sandwich model. According to this model, sandwich, upper slice of bread, lower slice of bread, in which what is there? What is there? So stuff is there. What is our vegetables or any stuff, cheese or what we make? That is called a sandwich. Likewise, according to that model, two lipid bilayer in which proteins get a sandwiched. That is the model. And upper layer, lower layer is lipid layer. In between, what are there? Proteins are there. That is what is called as a sandwich model. This model failed to explain how the movement of proteins takes place. That's why it was not accepted. Most accepted model of the plasma membrane is nothing but what most accepted model is called as a fluid mosaic model. What model? Fluid mosaic model is the most accepted model of a plasma membrane. What is this? Fluid mosaic model. Fluid mosaic model is the most accepted model of what a plasma membrane, which was proposed by Singer and Nicholson. Singer and Nicholson proposed this particular type of model. What model? Fluid mosaic model. So according to them, this particular type of quasi-fluid, lipids are in the form of quasi-fluid. Quasi-fluid and something resembles in many things, actually not of that thing. That is quasi. Something is resembling in many things, which is not originally of that thing. ఒకటి ఇంకొకటి లాగా మనకు కనిపిస్తుంది అనేక ఫార్మ్స్ లో, బట్ అది కాదు. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ quasi. అంటే it is a fluid mosaic model. Actually it's not a fluid. It is fluid like, it appears just like a fluid. Hence it is called as a fluid mosaic model. So fluid, originally not fluid, but it seems to be fluid, but not fluid. That is what we call it as quasi. వీడు వాడిలాగా కనిపిస్తున్నాడు కానీ వాడు కాదు, చూడటానికి వాడు. సో అంటే క్వాసి ఫ్లూయిడ్ మీన్స్ నాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఫ్లూయిడ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ లైక్. ఓకే. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు దిస్ మోడల్ which was proposed by Singer and Nicholson, this is a quasi fluid structure. What is quasi fluid? Lipids or fluid like. This particular type of model is well explained, just like icebergs are floating in a liquid, in a ocean, water of ocean. Yeah, so ocean is nothing but water. So in case of the particular type of areas where very temperature is very low, temperatures are existing. So there ice cubes are floating. This is the particular type of water. Suppose this is the water. Ice cubes are floating on water. So ice cubes just icebergs. మంచు తేలుతా ఉంటుంది నీటి మీద తెలుసు కదా మీకు కొన్ని చోట్ల అర్థమవుతుందా వాటర్ ఈస్ కంపేర్డ్ టు ద లిపిడ్స్ and icebergs are compared to the proteins. You got it or not? So in case of water, some icebergs are floating. In case of the regions where the polar regions and are there, what happens there? The temperature is less and water becomes ice. You know that. And when temperature is rising, what happens? The ice is broken into small pieces or bugs. They're called as icebergs. When you see such type of water, icebergs are literally floating on the surface of a ocean. There, what are there? Two particular type of forms are there. One is the water, and second one is the iceberg. You compare the water with this particular type of lipid. Lipid is just like a water in a ocean. Okay, icebergs are like proteins. So here you need to know one thing, one important thing. Icebergs are not static. Are they static? They will be fixed on the water. They are floating, just they move from one place to the other place. They are capable of movement. Likewise, proteins are also able to move laterally in a lipid ocean. That is the meaning of this particular type of fluid mosaic model. And one more thing, you should know the meaning of mosaic. Mosaic means no definite arrangement. If you keep one thing here, that is a definite arrangement. You cannot keep a particular type of thing in that area. It can move in different type of areas. That you can say that a mosaic arrangement. You can see the floating of the mosaic tiles. Dots are there in mosaic tiles, which is not compared with the other particular type of tile, because they arrange differently and other is also arranged differently, and the arrangement is independent, not definite, not restricted. So proteins are not restricted. Suppose here the protein iceberg is there. Listen carefully. So you cannot say that it will remain as such. When it is possible, when it is a solid structure, it is possible. When it is impregnated with a solid material, it cannot move. Just like you see in case of halwa, we had got cashews. Cashews are fixed in halwa. They cannot move because it has been solidified. There is no movement of cashew. When you place it in the case of payasam relation, so float avachchu pakkaki jaragachchu manam itla jariginapudu jaruguta undi. That is why it is not fixed. It is in the liquid so that it can move. If it is placed in a solid, it cannot move. Do you understand? So proteins are not fixed here, as they are placed in a liquid ocean, fluid like a liquid material in which the proteins have been placed in a mosaic manner. What manner? Mosaic manner, not a regular manner. Irregularly arranged. What are irregularly arranged? Proteins are irregularly arranged in a lipid matrix, which is just like a fluid like, so that they can show lateral movement. Do you understand? Lateral movement of the proteins enables the fluidity. Enables the lateral movement of the protein, so that only some molecules can pass through this particular type of proteins. If it is solid, if the protein is not going to change its structure, the movement of certain ions would never take place. During the transport of ions, what happens? This particular type of proteins, now it is like this, it can change its shape and allows the molecules to the other side. Or from here, the molecules can be released out. That is only because of the it has the capacity to change its shape as well as it shows the lateral movement, without which the movement of certain ions are not possible at all. Do you understand? So fluidity is the basis of a selective permeable nature of the plasma membrane. So that this particular type of thing has been proposed by Singer and Nicholson, that is called as a fluid mosaic model. What is fluid here? Lipids are acting as a fluid, and what are a particular type of proteins are arranged in a mosaic manner in a lipid ocean, in a lipid matrix, fluid matrix of lipids. What are arranged? Proteins are arranged in a mosaic manner, that is called as fluid mosaic model. Okay. Now, so this particular type of movement of ions, how it takes place? Transport of ions across the membrane. How does the transport of ions across the membrane will work? Please say. So transport of molecules across the membrane. If the molecules are neutral, so neutral substances, listen carefully, this is important. Neutral substances and non-polar materials can easily cross the membrane. Any lipid bilayer. So any particular type of substances, what I told you, neutral substances, not having any charges, non-polar materials can easily cross this particular type of one side of the membrane, outer side to the inner side. So fast movement of ions or molecules takes place means what are these particular molecules? These molecules are nothing but what are non-polar and neutral substances can find easy to move from one side of the membrane to other side of the membrane. So you could see the diffusion of carbon dioxide, diffusion of oxygen, movement of water that occurs also through this particular type of lipid bilayer. I'm not talking about this particular type of thing. Listen carefully. So neutral substances, non-polar materials can easily find And lipid soluble, these also lipid soluble. Non-polar, neutral and lipid soluble substances can find easy to cross the membrane, easily crossed. Okay now? Next. So the movement of such type of ions takes place along the concentration gradient. Ions takes place movement takes place along the concentration gradient. What does it mean? From a region of higher concentration to a region of a lower concentration. It is higher. It is lower. Movement occurs in this direction. If ions or molecules are more in number in one side, so these are the ions or molecules that are there here. Their concentration is more. Here their concentration is less. They can move easily if they are neutral, non-polar or lipid soluble. They can move easily across the membrane along the concentration gradient. What is this? Along the concentration gradient. That means that is from higher to lower. Movement of ions takes place from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Higher to lower is called as along the concentration gradient without the expenditure of energy. Without using energy. Such movement is called as passive movement. Or this is called as passive transport. What transport is it? Passive transport. What do you mean by passive? Not using energy. How it could be possible? It could be possible when gradient is there. Gradient means what? Difference. What difference? Concentration difference. Gradient means difference. What difference? Concentration difference. Here you see the ions or molecules are more in concentration. This side already less in concentration. So it is a higher concentration, it is lower concentration. So that the ions and molecules can easily move from a region of a higher concentration to lower concentration without the expenditure of energy, and such transport is called as passive transport. And movement is called as what a simple diffusion. This phenomenon is called as a simple diffusion. This would call it as simple diffusion. Okay. Normal, if any particles that diffuse, that is called as simple diffusion. If diffusion of water occurs across the membrane, that is called as osmosis. Osmosis means what? Generally, what we feel movement of a solvent from the region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Here, osmosis, you need to remember only one thing in your mind. Here we are talking about the concentration of water, not the concentration of the solute. You just remember this. Got the point or not? So if 10% solution, సిస్టమే అంటే రాసుకున్నామని అర్థం అంతేరా. స్లోగా మాట్లాడినా వినపడిపోతుంది. అదే నా యొక్క మైనస్ ప్లస్ నాకు చాలా వరకు నువ్వు లోపల ఏమనుకుంటున్నావు అనేది నువ్వు కాదు, అంటే మేధావి చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు కదా, మేధావి వర్గం యొక్క ఆలోచనలు మనకు తెలుసుకుంటాయి, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ అపర మేధావులు. సరే, ఇప్పుడు ఏం చెప్తాం మనము, దేని గురించి చెప్తున్నాం, దేని గురించిగా concentration of water. So if you take a 5% solution, okay, it's a membrane. This is 10% solution. 5% and 10%. So what is the direction of movement of the solution? What is the direction? చెప్పండి, పర్లేదు, తప్పు చెప్తే నష్టం లేదు. నోటు తెరవండి, ఫీలింగ్స్ చెప్పండి. అన్నిటికీ ఒకే ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్, చావుకి ఆనందానికి ఒకటే ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ పెడితే ఇక్కడ ఫీలింగ్ వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు. ఏం లేదు, అంతా మబ్బు మామూలుగా మైసూర్ ముద్దల్లా కూర్చుంటున్నారు. అంత మైసూర్ బజ్జీలు అంటారు చూసారా, అవి మామూలు బయట చూసినప్పుడు అటు శుద్ధలా ఉంటే లోపలికి వెళ్ళినా కూడా మనిషిని అడ్డగా ఉంచుతాయి. మంపుగా చూడటానికి సొంపుగా ఉంటాయి, తినడానికి ఎంపుగా ఉంటాయి, లోపలికి వెళ్తే మంపుగా ఆడేస్తాయి. అర్థమవుతుందా? డైజెషన్ ని దాని మీద వెచ్చలోడు యుద్ధం చేస్తే కానీ అరగవచ్చు. దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ మైదా బాల్స్. సరే, సో ఎక్కువ యుద్ధం చేయబాగా నాటి మీద, అది ఉన్నప్పుడు కొంచెం తగ్గించండి, ఆరోగ్యాన్ని మంచిది. అర్థమైందా? సరే చెప్పండి. డైరెక్షన్ 5%, 10% దట్ ఈస్ విత్ హ్యుమానిటీ చెప్పాడు డైరెక్షన్. ఎందుకంటే హియర్ 95% సొల్యూట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, 5% మాత్రమే వాటర్. సరే, సొల్యూట్స్ 5% ఉన్నాయి, 95% వాటర్. ఇక్కడ 10% ఆఫ్ సొల్యూట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, 90% వాటర్. వాటర్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఎక్కడ ఎక్కువ ఉంది? ఇక్కడ ఎక్కువ. వాటర్ ఆల్వేస్ మూవ్స్ from a region of higher water concentration to lower water concentration. That is a fundamental rule you are not supposed to forget. Here, ఇప్పుడు ఇదంతా ఎందుకు చెప్పానంటే, you are not supposed to take the solutes. Concentration of the solutes you are not supposed to take in osmosis. You have to take the solvent molecules only. That means particularly water only. Transport of water should be there in your mind when you are talking about the osmosis. You understand what I am telling you? When it is osmosis, you should think about the concentration of water, not the concentration of the solutes. If you take the concentration of solutes, the answer could be like this. But we are talking about the concentration of water. Water is more here. Water concentration is more here, less here. Automatically, water moves from a region of higher water concentration to lower water concentration. That you are supposed to know. Okay? That's what we call it as a osmosis. When transport of water takes place across the membrane from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration, that what we call it as a osmosis. Now, so sometimes what happens? So here the molecules are charged particles are there. Charged particles and polar materials. They are observed here. Here their concentration is less. They are more concentrated here. They are having charges. I told you. Particles having charges, positive or negative charge, are polar materials, not find easy to cross the plasma membrane. Through plasma membrane, not allowed through plasma membrane. Okay, when they are not allowed, their movement must be facilitated. Movement of such ions must be facilitated. They wanted to go to the other side of the membrane, but lipid bilayer is not allowing them. Lipid bilayer, polar substances and charged particles are not allowed through lipid bilayer. their movement must be facilitated. It occurs through membrane proteins. So membrane proteins helps the movement of such type of ions, not the lipid bilayer. So the movement of such ions takes place through the membrane proteins. Same from the region of higher concentration to lower concentration without the expenditure of energy. Such movement of ions through special membrane proteins from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration is called facilitated diffusion. What is it called? Is it called facilitated diffusion? What is the basic difference of simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion? Simple diffusion does occur through lipid bilayer, but facilitated diffusion does not occur through lipid bilayer. They require special membrane proteins. What is common in these two? Good. Both moves from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Movement is from higher to lower, same in simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. But in simple diffusion, it does occur through lipid bilayer. But in case of facilitated diffusion, they cannot move through the lipid bilayer as they are polar or they are having the charges. Charged particles are polar nature substances, cannot be allowed through the lipid bilayer. So that their movement must be facilitated to the other side of the membrane. That special membrane proteins are involved in such transport. That is also from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration, which we name it as a facilitated diffusion. Is it active or passive? Passive only, because from higher to lower. Any movement of ions or molecules taking place from a higher to lower, always passive, not requires energy. So this is also called as what type of transport? Passive. But what require it? Special proteins are required. What are required? Special proteins are required.